What are some of the impacts of being lied to? How do we overcome being lied to? And is it even possible to overcome being lied to over a long period of time? So being able to learn to trust again and that kind of thing. So this is what I want to talk about today, because one of the most surprising things that I have discovered over the past couple years of studying this is that being lied to has ridiculously severe impacts. So someone keeping a secret from you over time, the impact of that on you has physical, emotional, psychological impacts. It impacts everything. And the impacts of that can be so severe. And by severe, I mean like it can bring on depression, it can bring on severe anxiety, it can bring on suicidal thoughts, it can break down your self-esteem, it can essentially break down every part of your life. Now, the idea of that is both surprising and not surprising. So I think the impact that it has on our psyche and what it can bring out in us is surprising. Like the fact that it can essentially bring out PTSD in someone is surprising. But when we really look at it, it makes sense. Because essentially, these people are discovering that everything they trusted in their lives, and probably what their lives were built upon, so a life with their partner, their family, their whole kind of circle, everything that's close to them, has been built on a lie. And the person that they trusted has been lying to them this whole time. And that can essentially like break apart everything and make them feel like everything was a lie. Like everything was a lie. And if you feel like that in your life, then everything around all of that falls apart. So that makes sense if we look at it from that standpoint, right? So I started seeing this come up years ago. So a couple years ago, I was mostly working with the person who lied or cheated or had done something really wrong. I was working with that person. And I was working with the people who had really done things wrong. Like they had been hiding a sex addiction for 20 years. So I'd been working with those people to kind of try to help them and figure out how to make them feel better and stop doing what they were doing and kind of fix all of their issues. And one of those would be the relationship, right? But when we got into the relationship and trying to bring the couple back together, there was so much damage done to that spouse that they weren't even ready to work through it at all. Even if that person, the person who had kept the secrets or had the issues, even if they were rehabilitated and doing better, the trauma that they had caused that other person was so severe that that other person wasn't ready to meet them because the whole foundation of everything had been destroyed. So that person ended up needing a lot of support and a lot of help alone before we could even come back together. So each person had to do their own work before we could even start to come back together. And I started to be surprised at the depth of what the other person was going through. So like I said, like PTSD symptoms can come up, a lot of depression, a lot of depressive symptoms, that kind of thing can come up. And all of these have come up or been made way worse by this person's actions and this person's deceit on them. So that kind of started me on this path of wondering like, okay, there's a lot more there, clearly. There's a lot more there, there's a lot more going on, and we need to look at that in a little bit different way. So that led me along this path to get more into treating betrayal trauma and really understanding what all of this meant. And I'll shoot more videos on all of that. But I really want to talk today about just the piece of lying. The idea that lying and keeping a secret from someone can cause them this many impacts. That is huge. Like we know that lying isn't good to do, right? We all know that it's not good to do. Even if you do it, you know that it's not good. And keeping a secret has impacts on the person that's keeping the secret as well. And we know it's like hurting the other person, but we didn't used to realize the long-term impact of that like we now understand. So I think this is crucial for the person that is lying to understand, as well as the person who is being lied to understand. Because what often happens as we go through treatment is the person who has been lying starts to maybe engage more and feel better, and they're working their things out, and they've gone through the whole disclosure process and all of that, and they expect the other person to get over it. Like, how come you're not getting over this? We've been over this a million times. We've been going to counseling for a year. You know, they end up kind of getting frustrated, like, how come you're not over this at all anymore? And then the other person can't get over it. They can't let it go. They can't feel better. They keep reliving it. They keep seeing it happen again. They just keep seeing it over and over again. Well, that is a trauma symptom, right? Reliving the events, not being able to trust, feeling scared, feeling paranoid, feeling nervous, all of that stuff. And they can't get through that. They can't let that go. And that is normal. So the understanding, that changes our understanding of it, right? If both people understand that, hey, the actions that you took caused this reaction in this person. So that changes everything for both people. The person that lied understands more that, hey, this is what happened in this person, and this is what my actions caused, and this is what I can expect. So I can't expect them to just get over it because of what I did. So they develop a deeper understanding of what's going on, and they can adjust to better support that person. And the person that is going through all of this now can understand, like, I am normal actually. For what I have been through, these reactions and these feelings are normal. And just that understanding is so powerful, because now they're not thinking, I'm crazy, I have a problem, that person's getting better and I can't let it go. They don't develop all of that stuff, because you can realize, okay, this sucks, this is awful, but with what I have been through, this is normal, and I'm not alone. It's not hopeless. We can work through this. It's going to take a lot of work on both parts, but it is possible to work through. But what I'm going through, it doesn't mean that I'm crazy, and it doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. It means I have been through a terrible situation, and I'm having normal reactions to that. And I need help, and I need support. So that shift in understanding can open up a whole new world now where you can get help. Both people can get help, and we can start to move forward. So let me know if you guys have any questions on that, or any comments, or anything that you want me to talk further with that. I'm going to get more into different pieces of this and different pieces of betrayal and that kind of thing. So please let me know if you have any questions that come up, or anything that you want me to discuss further, because we're going to keep going into this.